Hey guys, I'm Sam Crack, and today I'm going to answer the question that has dominated my comment section for the last several months, and that is it me or are there no glasses in Rich's glasses? I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong thing. This video topic is how much did this Salvage Auction Ferrari cost? Now, I always refrain from giving this number up front as it can easily give the wrong impression on how simple it is to score a deal at the salvage auction. When this car was delivered, it appeared it just had a small crack in the floor, something I ended up repairing with about $25 in scrap aluminum, another $60 in supplies, and a priceless amount of video comments. So with a sale price of $37,217.50, including all auction fees, if it only cost me another $85 to repair this, it would have been a home run. But as you've seen, this prancing horse has been very difficult to tame, costing several more $1,000s than I could have ever anticipated just looking at its auction photos. It's the mechanical repairs that have been the major financial burden on this car. I pull my hair out every single time I'm hunched over the engine bay in this Ferrari, but you never know it. That's because I've been using Keeps, a revolutionary new way to prevent hair loss. Male pattern baldness is a serious offender, and it affects 2 out of 3 men by the age of 35. Just look at the top of Alex's head, and as for Rich, could you imagine what he would look like with hair? Now, isn't that striking? Keeps is a super simple, cost-effective way to prevent and repair hair loss. There's no visiting the doctor's office or pharmacy. Everything is done on Keeps' website, and the treatments start at only $10 a month delivered to your door. And Keeps treatments are up to 90% effective at reducing and stopping further hair loss. Many men have also experienced hair regrowth with these treatments. If you're experiencing any signs of male pattern baldness, I want you to visit Keeps.com/SamCrack. And even if you got a nice head of hair, prevention is key. It's not too late to start a maintenance plan, and Keeps can help you out with that at Keeps.com/SamCrack, or simply click my link in the description box below. When you do, you're going to save 50% off your first order. Now, I got to give a huge thanks to Keeps for not only sponsoring this video, but keeping my hair exactly where it belongs. Now, as I go through these costs, I want you to keep 2 things in mind. Number 1, all the work that's gone into rebuilding this car was done on jack stands with tools that can be purchased by anyone and with a workshop manual that can only be read by Italians. I'm kidding, but with just a little mechanical knowledge, I believe anyone could replicate this rebuild in their home garage. Number 2, I paid out of pocket for most of the costs involved in this rebuild. However, 3 vendors provided parts or services for this car as part of a sponsorship. Even though this is the case, I will still be putting a fair value on these items as I want you to have the clearest idea of what it takes to begin and complete a project like this Ferrari. Anyone who gives a price disclosure and glazes over major components or straight up says this was sponsored so it was free is not giving a real world idea on what sort of capital it actually takes to rebuild a car. With the disclaimers aside, let's try and go in order here. The first thing that I paid for on this car was the delivery. To get it from Texas to Florida cost me $600. And I'm pretty sure that cost me at least another $600, although I haven't removed the front bumper to find out yet. Now, this car was listed as a runs, but does not drive car at the auction, and clearly the transporter drove it off of his truck. However, there was an ECU issue. One of the computers did not match with the other one. A very, very strange issue here, but I was able to track down a company called Specialized ECU Repair. My issue required a hardware and a software repair, which ran $1,175. There's 2 computers in this car. Only one of them needed to be replaced. If you needed 2 of them replaced, it would have been more expensive. If you just needed a software repair, I'm sure they could adjust the price accordingly, which when it comes to Ferrari computers and programming, I think is a phenomenal deal, because if you go to the dealership, they're likely going to want to sell you 2 new replacement modules, and I could only imagine it'd be several times the cost. Now, it's pretty clear to me that this Ferrari drove up over a curb or something of the sort, as besides that little bit of undercarriage damage we had, both passenger side wheels were destroyed. Not to mention the set of wheels that came on this car were super ugly, so they needed to go. One thing I've noticed about Ferraris is that their offsets are strange. So there's not a lot of aftermarket wheel companies that have a set of Ferrari wheels just sitting in stock. You got to get them custom made, meaning they can be very expensive for a set of aftermarket wheels. I opted to get a stock set of wheels. I called up Fur Parts, one of the best known Ferrari dismantlers in the entire country, and they had a set of kind of rough around the edges wheels, ones that needed refinishing. They sent them out to me at no cost, but I would value each one of these wheels at about $150 a piece. If these wheels are in mint to perfect condition, they trade hands between $300 and $400. I took them and we got them freshly powder coated. That cost about $500 in itself. One of the wheels needed some additional repair. That was another couple $100. And then I needed a fresh set of rubber tires I got for $300 for all four. Now you must be wondering, where do you get a set of 4 tires for $300 for a Ferrari? And the answer is China. Go ahead and criticize. I wasn't even sure this car was going to be running at this point, so I did opt for a cheaper set of tires. I will likely get those swapped out in the future. The last thing I had to order was a set of lug nuts because the lug nuts that came on the aftermarket wheels would not work with the stock wheels. I totally lucked out on this. Somebody had a set for a Maserati. They're the same exact ones that come on the Ferrari on eBay for $60. Normally, a set of Ferrari lug nuts sell for a few $100, and that's used. So if you add up all those things, we've got about $1,660 into a set of wheels, tires, and lug nuts. Now we're riding on new blades with a set of computers that actually make the car functional. I go out for its first drive, and the transmission light came on. That was likely the cheapest and easiest component to replace in the transmission. It's the F1 fluid pump. I only paid $250 for a brand new one that was made for an Alfa Romeo, had it shipped directly over from the United Kingdom, and that fixed my issue. Now that's just the first of many mechanical parts I've thrown at this car to get it running right. Well, a lot of you will say, well, you wouldn't have to put all this money into it if you didn't overfill the oil. That might be true. However, Ferrari recommends a service on this car. I think it's at 18 or 20,000 miles. This car has 22,000 miles, and it's never been serviced as far as I can tell. As I've shown, there's old part numbers in it, part numbers that have been revised, part numbers that haven't existed for over a decade at this point. So in my opinion, a Ferrari of this age with this many miles, it needed these parts one way or another. After overfilling its engine oil, I threw new spark plugs in it. A set of 8 were $100. Brand new air filters, $75 for a pair. 2 mass airflow sensors. These ones were interesting. I only paid $40 for a pair of third-party mass airflow sensors. The mass airflow sensors in this car are used in a bunch of makes and models, so like Range Rovers, BMWs, and a handful of others. They're pretty common parts. Coil packs are another interesting one. If you went to the Ferrari dealership, as far as I understand, one coil pack is $200 to $300 if it has the Ferrari stamp on it. I bought original equipment manufacturer parts from Bosch without the Ferrari stamp. The same exact coil packs, I paid $300 for a set of 8. And then a bunch of gaskets. We had spark plug O-rings, valve cover gaskets, cam covers, cam seals, gaskets that mated the head to the intake manifold, and then the top manifold cover. All these gaskets together were right under $300. During the installation of all these parts, I ran out to the auto parts store probably half a dozen times, spending around a couple $100. While I was installing these parts in the car, I broke a tensioner bolt. And remember, this is a Ferrari bolt, so it's very expensive at $60 for a bolt. After installing all these parts, I actually drove the car around maybe 5-6 miles, and it worked excellent. It's when you shut the car off, it would start to leak a little bit of oil again, so I knew something still wasn't right. That's when Radarosa came in town, and that is when we decided to do what Ferrari calls a major service, and this might have even gone above and beyond a major service because I threw every single wear item possible. Hydraulic tensioners, which Ferrari doesn't really change out until every other cam belt service, alone were $650 for a pair. The bearings that just spin the belts, those were $250 for a pair. These looked almost like bearings you'd install on a skateboard that maybe cost $15 or $20 for a pack of 4. 2 of them were $250. Wrap your mind around that. The timing belts were the interesting ones. The company that I ordered them from offered 2 different types of timing belts. Both of them manufactured by Dayco. One of them had the stamp Ferrari on them. The other one just said Dayco. In my estimation, they're the same exact belts. The stamp is the only thing that's different. The Ferrari ones were 100 pounds each, so about 140 US for one belt, and you need 2. Or if you just got the Dayco ones, they were $30 US. So I got 2 Dayco belts for $60. Can you blame me? They're the same exact thing. I also replaced all the accessory belts while we were in there. Those were $100 for 3 belts. So it took all those parts to get this car mechanically sound, but there's just one thing left in the mechanical department to make this car 100%, and that is a new rear main seal. I have one right here. It cost around $40 US. That's the cheap part. To install a rear main seal, you need to pull the entire transmission out of the car. At a shop, that would cost around $3,000. While you're in there, you might as well do a clutch. A clutch would cost about $2,500 to an additional $3,000 just for the parts, because you need a clutch, you need some sensors. Again, you need more gaskets. A bunch of stuff goes into a clutch kit for one of these cars. My dilemma, This car has about 50% clutch life remaining when I scanned it. So if I go in to do the rear main seal, do I do a clutch or not? The current clutch should easily last another 10,000, maybe 20 or 30,000 miles. So to buy a whole new clutch kit just to do the $40 rear main seal, well, I think personally it's just throwing money away. But there is one other potential solution that is really cheap. It doesn't require you to pull your transmission, but it's also not super proven. And tell me what you think about this down in the comments section. I could try a bottle of rear main stop leak in the engine oil, something I've never done on any car before. But if it fixed this problem, at least to get the majority of the remaining clutch life left, for about 10 or 20 bucks, it would be an incredible solution. But again, I'm not sold on that idea, so let me know what you think about it. Now, the rest of our costs are gonna be in the cosmetic department, mostly up front here in the hood and the windshield. We're gonna start off with the windshield, which was a doozy. To pay out of pocket and get this windshield done, it's about $3,200. This is a piece of factory glass that was installed by the best over at Safelite. And I've got a video coming that's gonna show you exactly how this was installed. And if you just look at the job that they did, look at the gaskets here on the edges. The gaskets are nice and clean. That's because they're molded into the windshield. The one that was on before was actually an aftermarket piece of glass. It had this thick, nasty gasket that was falling out of place. So that has been rectified. And again, it's one of the most expensive things that was put on this car. The windshield. The hood was repaired by my friend Zach over at Ultimate Rebuilds. He's doing the final finishing on it now, a cut and buff to make it nice and smooth. Now, since this hood was repaired what we'll call in-house, it only cost us the paint and supplies, which all totaled out to be $500. The paint on this car, very expensive. We only got enough to do the hood, but the cosmetic issues go around the entire car, and that's where I have a dilemma. Do I keep this a really good driver where we polish it up really nice? It looks really, really good, but it has a few issues like these stone chips here in the front, the really, really low scratches that every low car's bumper has. Also, the side rocker. From the side profile here, you don't see anything, but if I show you the passenger side rocker on the lower areas, it's kind of scratched up. And then the rear has a few cosmetic issues in the rear bumper. The rear diffuser is kind of chipped and cracked in the very lower edges here. So I want to put some miles on it and enjoy it a little bit. And if I do decide to keep it long term, which I really think I will, maybe get the whole thing resprayed. Maybe. And if I respray it, it'll stay the same Verde British Racing. This color is not changing whatsoever. It's just that, again, with little cosmetic imperfections all around, to get the entire paint to match, you're probably going to need to respray the whole car, unfortunately. Now, I do think with the hood resprayed, and maybe if we take care of that rear lower diffuser and just polish it really nice, do a really nice paint correction, this car could be like 90% looking. Oh, and also fix the hanging front bumper there because of the truck driver damage. So get all of that done. I think it will look really good. And at that point, I might just enjoy it enough where I keep driving it in that condition. Now, most Ferrari guys would cringe at the idea of respraying this car because it would devalue the car. And they also wouldn't want this car because it's got a salvage and we'll have a rebuilt title. Luckily, I'm not like most Ferrari guys. Something that the Ferrari guys would like to hear, though, is that we're going to restore this interior with all the original aluminum style pieces that it came with. My friend Radarosa helped me source a set of interior aluminum trim pieces, and it was only $300 and they're in excellent condition. So where you see the door cards here and this carbon fiber, this is all aftermarket. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, it looks pretty good, leave the carbon fiber, but up close, it doesn't look like nice Ferrari carbon fiber. It looks kind of cheap. We also have a full aluminum center console here that we're going to replace. So again, everything that you see is going to be that nice aluminum. The only thing I didn't get was the paddle shifters here. It didn't come with those. So if you have a set of these for sale or you want to trade me carbon fiber ones for aluminum ones, definitely let me know. But I mean, look at this sort of stuff. This car had an aftermarket speaker install, and whoever did the install, yeah, good job. To add to the originality of the car, Furparts sent me out the aluminum intake covers. So this carbon fiber, which is yellowing over right now, looks horrible, is going to be replaced with these. I might freshly powder coat these though before we go and put them in so they look brand new. While we refinish those, we're also going to powder coat the horse badge here back to a brushed look, and also the rear Ferrari deck lid badge. If you add up all the numbers I've given you along this video, you're going to come up with a total of right around $47,000. Good deal? Well, I'll leave that to you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about this car, a 2004 Ferrari 360 Spider with about 22,000 miles, mechanically sound now, for $47,000. Personally, I couldn't be more thrilled. Yes, this car has been a major pain to get right, and weeks worth of labor have gone into it. However, it's tough to find a running, driving Ferrari that starts with a 4 in the price, and it's not $400,000. Plus, this has been a huge learning experience for me, and I feel mechanically slightly more confident to take on the next tough supercar project than I did before diving into this, let's call it cheap supercar project, even though it's not super cheap. A retail on one of these with a clean title in good cosmetic condition, mechanically sound, would be around 90 grand. So we're talking about a 40%-ish savings off of retail, but there's still a little bit of work that the 360 needs to get up to that level. Now, if you think this Ferrari was a good deal or just enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like. If you're not already following me on Instagram, where I post pictures of new projects before they go live here on YouTube, just go right here or click the link in the description box below. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today, and I'll catch you very soon.